system, your
world will never be the same again.
in television.
Odyssey, a new dimension.
Space Station. Real. Only from Panasonic.
Traffic 16 from NEC.
4,000 games console. Astro K. The Professor exceeded. And below. 326. Now get up to CDI starting at $299.
Child Video Entertainment System. Hey, it's Chronologically Gaming, the only channel that's perpetually retro because we're playing every video game in order of release. You can't stop this game train. Ready to close out May of 1982? We last played Venture on the TRS-80 Color Computer, an excellent title and a first time that you could play Venture at home. After that, let's press forward and see our next release. We're next going to the Commodore VIC-20. This is Vic Attack. Vic Attack is another title that we don't have any box or other artwork for, just a few screenshots, so let's pop it in and play some Vic Attack by Soft Toy Software at sometime in May 1982. And we are not going to wait for the tape to load. Let's go right into the game. We've already seen a few titles that take a little bit too long. Let's just go right into it. Here we go. So we can do keyboard keys or joystick can be used, and we're going to plug in the joystick of our Commodore VIC-20 and play. There we go. Got a ditty starting off the game. That's the way to go. And now we have, it looks like an asteroid field coming at us, multicolored with the colors of the VIC-20. And they've pretty much tilted Space Invaders on its side. So Vic Attack is very reminiscent of playing a Space Invaders game. It even has the single shot at a time, but controls all right as far as moving left and right and firing. So I gotta say, of all the games you could play for a computer, it's pretty average for the time, and typical of what we'd expect from the VIC-20. They even have a humming background similar or reminiscent of Space Invaders. It almost, to me, it sounds like farting. We've heard better sounds coming from the Commodore VIC-20, but they are trying to do a Space Invaders kind of motif here. Oh, and the asteroids break the barrier away. But it's essentially the same idea, and I think that this is never ending. They just keep coming, all of them, the aliens, the asteroids. Will it ever stop? Well, what you see there is pretty much what you see is what you get. So all the games we could play for a home computer, I'm going to say it's perfectly average. A 3-star title on a home computer. There's Vic Attack. And with that, let's see where we're going now. Still on the Commodore VIC-20, this is Viking. Let's take a look at Viking. Another one we don't have any box for, just a few screenshots. So let's pop it and play Viking by Bill Nolan. Published by Prickly Pear at sometime in May 1982. Yes, right? Well, we have seen some other versions of that on its side. Wow, pretty good sound for the Commodore VIC-20. That's not too bad. All right, so Viking is a Sumer variant game. In other words, it's a game that involves strategy, and you have menus that let you pick and select different options to run a Viking kingdom. So it's more of a strategy-based game. Oh, that's true, maybe. It'd be better if it was on that, right? All right, so this one you can play up to 4 players. Let's go for a 2-player game. What level of play do we want? We're doing level 1. We're not going to go too crazy. Who lives in Oslo? Chrono lives in Oslo. Chrono of Oslo. Are you man or woman? Last time I checked, I am man. Who lives in Viborg? Let's see. Curtis was last in the chat. Curtis lives in Viborg. Curtis of Viborg. Are you man or woman? We'll just say man for now. Curtis of Viborg. You're 750. Your storekeeper tells you that Norway rats ate 40% of your stored grain. Now, the way the game works is like other management simulation games. It has, yes, cross-platform. That's right, we're going to be playing multiple. It has different things that come up, and you just make the decisions for your kingdom. And obviously, if you make really good decisions, you do better, make more money, and your people are prosperous. But if you make bad decisions, then everyone dies or has problems. So if it all depends on how you make those decisions. So you can see we could play up to 4 people in this game, and you and your friends would be hot swapping back and forth and making decisions for your Viking kingdom. So, gosh, we got a lot of rats. He says we need to have more ferrets to control the rats. Okay. Thanks. And then we have 9 people born, 4 people died. We gained 5 people. That's nice. You can see the year is 750 when the game begins. You own 1 boat, earn 99 pounds. What would be the currency for Vikings? I'm not sure. You have 2 guards, pay a total of 20 pounds. And then it's year 750. You have 2 ferrets, and it's doing what we've seen with other management simulation games. It's just going through all the stats. What do you got? There's what we have for cost per grain. 100 bushels. Grain demand is 15 bushels. What do you want to do? And here's where you make the selection. Do you want to buy grain, sell grain, or continue? Let's just say continue. Like, we're good. We're fine. And then here we can pop possible investments, how much everything costs, and then what do you want to buy? They suggested ferrets. Why not? Let's buy a ferret. Push number 1. Let's buy another ferret. We got enough money. 3 more ferrets. And then when we're ready, we hit continue. And oh, nice. It gives you a little slight graphic of what you see. There's our boat in the bottom left corner. And as you play the game, this will grow. You'll have temples, markets, armories. They'll all show up on this screen. And then you want to make any key changes to the letter of your choice. You can do changes to the head, import profits and sales, and so forth. And then we push G to go on. There you go, year 750. Provide your people with a substance level diet. You have to distribute at least 1,515 bushels of grain. You have 3,000 bushels. You have 300 for seed. How much will you distribute? We'll say 20. Why not? And there we go, the stats of everything happening. Thralls, seamen, traders, nobles, priests, everything that's happening. And now the next player gets to go. Chrono of Oslo. The year is 751. The storekeeper tells us that Norway rats ate 68% of your stored grain. I think we played another game where the rats were eating everything as well. Was that the one from Italy? I can't remember off the top of my head. But I think rats were eating everything then too. And we need more ferrets to control my kingdom as well. So Viking is a simulated style game, but it uses menu structures. And all you got to do is read what's happening as far as stats, make the right decisions, and then bam, you got a Viking kingdom. So there you go. Of all the games we could see up to this point, Viking is one of the better, well-done ones just because it simplifies the whole strategy game. It's not really doing it too much to push, though, what all the video games you could play on the home computer at the time. I'm still going to say Viking is a title that's a perfectly average one. 3 stars out of 5 for all the computer games you could play up to this point. But that's not all. We also have Viking. There it is, Viking for the Coco. Let's take a look at Viking on the Coco. Pretty much the same company. Prickly Pear did it for us. We have some more information, though, for this one. We have the ad by Prickly Pear Software, and Vikings over here on the top right side of the screen. A simulation for 1 to 4 players. Each begins as a landowner and farming their land, buying and selling land, expanding fishing fleet, building their manufactory, increasing population, and so forth. Playable in 1 or 2 hours and different every time. You may have an addiction problem. From playing Viking, I hardly would think so. Yeah, those rats always are a bitch. We play that when we play other games like this. They do that and they pop up, eating all of our grain. Oh, that's true. You can start attacking players. That'd be even more fun. And then we also have another one by Enteco Software, which Viking is a brief graphic at the top right side, if you can see that there. Looks pretty cool on that spot. And then the rest of it just have screenshots. We also have the manual. This is from Color Computer Archive. The top, you can see it's by PDP, TRS-80 Color Computer, and you need 16K extended. Probably the best simulation ever written for the Color Computer. How well can you manage a Viking kingdom? If you do well, you may rise through the ranks to become queen or king and win the game. But you must beware because many pitfalls lie along the road to success. Oh, yes. Yeah, of this genre, I think it's done very well. Did you have an addiction problem? I'm not sure. And then we go, Prickly Pear Software shows you how to load the game, and it even has instructions for loading on the VIC-20, which we just played. The program for the game is very complex. The actual play is quite simple. The computer will prompt you every time it wants you to do something. First, you'll be asked for the number of players, then the difficulty level, and you'll be asked to supply the name and sex of the player. The program will randomly decide who goes first, and that player's turn will begin. And it's true. It's very simple. It works really well. It's a simulation of running a Viking hold around the year 750 AD. Your computer will step you through full year at a time. You'll be asked to make decisions about what to buy and sell, what taxes to assess for the coming year. The thing to remember is almost everything will have an effect on almost everything else. Taxes affect profits, food, population, and a whole lot more. As you play a few times, you'll learn to get ahead of the system and have fun doing it. We won't want to give you too many clues. You'll have a disaster befall you, such as a plague, raiders, revolts, etc. A plague, it's probably a plague of rats. All can be avoided by good management, though, and the way you deficit, you have to be careful. You win by getting to be queen or king. Good luck. May the best holder win. And then they have a few definitions of the game. If you're not familiar with Viking lore, like thralls, ferrets, well, if we know the ferrets are going to help us kill the rats. The head tax, the guarantee. Oh, there we go. This is the software guarantee by Prickly Pear. That is not one of the. That's not one of the definitions. And they even have a graphic for Prickly Pear. Isn't that adorable? So in Viking, you'll start as a lowly landowner, a mere commoner. However, by buying and selling land, farming land, expanding your fishing fleet, taxing your people wisely, increasing your population, building on your armor and weapons, training soldiers, making all the other decisions needed to rule wisely, you can increase your economic power and rank and win the game by becoming ruler over all. It does say, yeah, be careful of plagues, rats, raiders, revolts, and all the other bad stuff. It is definitely addictive. Be warned. I don't even... Yeah, good point. Why did they ask if you're male or female? I want to know why. All right, let's pop in and play Viking by Bill Nolan. Prickly Pear software on the TRS-80 color computer. I believe this one is basic. Let's bask in the cocoa's green glow. They're doing the Diddy as well. Look at that. How many players do we want? Let's just do one this time. Level of play, we'll do one. Who lives in Oslo? Chrono. Are you man or woman? Yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm man. Holder of Chrono of Oslo, year 750. The storekeeper tells you that the Norway rats ate 56% of your stored grain. Those damn rats. He says that you need additional ferrets to control the rats. Of course we do. And to tell you the truth, every time I booted up this game, while they say it's the different experience every time, when I practiced this for the show, every single time they said, you need more ferrets. So I think they need more ferrets in Norway. So we got 3 total people gained, and it's going to go through our stats again. We own 1 fishing boat. We earned 114 bucks. Total pay is $20. Not wait, was that dollars? Did I see that right? I don't think they're using the same currency they did on the VIC 20. You have 2 ferrets, and this year the weather was bad. Harvest was 600. Your treasury has this much, and there's our grain. How much bushels do we need? So we can decide to buy or sell grain. I say we're good. Let's go ahead and continue. And then, yeah, it is in dollars. That's funny. They were at least using a currency on the VIC 20 that is similar to what it was before. Yeah, right? We're too cheap to hire the Pied Piper. I wonder how much he would cost if we wanted to get rid of all the rats. Oh, yes. And you have to combat that as well. I'd love to see how far this would go with multiple people and you actually get to attack everyone else. It'd be awesome. All right, so we have investment possibilities. Let's buy some more ferrets. Get those rats. And then we got enough money for a fishing boat. Let's do another one of those. And you can see our treasury's going down pretty fast. That'll be good. Let's continue. There's our graphic, similar to we saw on the VIC 20. We got 2 boats in the harbor. Nothing else happened yet, but it gives you just a small graphic of how you've developed and gotten better as you play the game. Yeah, I bet it was the fun part. All right, so now we got the taxes. If you want to make changes, key in your choice, or else press 6 to go on. Very, very simple. It's the multiple choice management system, and it fares so well at this time. You provide your people with a subsistence level diet. You have to distribute at least 1,465 bushels of grain. You have 1,040. You have to keep 104. How much will you distribute? So it says at least that. Let's do 1,500. Whoa. You don't have that much. Wait, did I not put a quarter? How many do you want to distribute? Oh, 104. Then we'll do that. And there's our standings. The holder, Chrono of Oslo. And our thralls, sailors, and traders, nobles, priests. And this is all the people that you have in your kingdom. Storekeeper tells you that, okay, now we go to the next year. So it went from 750 to 751. And every time you play, you go year by year. And now we got 62% of the rat. We just bought a bunch of, we did buy ferrets. We need to buy even more? I don't believe it. And then we gained 1 total people this time. We have 2 guards. Their pay totals that. And then our fishing boats made that much money. We have 8 ferrets, and we still are losing. Man, there's a terrible rat problem over here. Oh, 1040. Thank you, thank you. 1040, good buddy. So, holder, Chrono of Oslo. Weather this year was fair. Harvest was 1,200. Stores total 1,555. Very nice. And then, of course, if we want to buy or sell more grain, you can make the decision here and then move on. So a very well done for the time strategy game, especially if you have multiple people that would want to play, because it's pretty simple to catch on. Eventually, you'll get the quirks and know what which decisions to make or not make, but I still say Viking's a pretty good time. I'm going to go 3 stars of all the games you could play on a home computer, and just bear in mind, if this was just strategy games, I would definitely be rating this one higher, but we're rating everything that you could ever play. It is perfectly average for 1982. And with that, let's see our next release. We're back on the Commodore VIC-20. This is Wallet Walker. Let's take a look at Wallet Walker. Another one we don't have a box for, just some screenshots. Let's pop in Wallet Walker by Commodore Electronics. It's sometime in May 1982. Is this one going to take a long time? Oh, it is not. We're in. I don't know. I know we say that the Diddy is a luxury here in 1982, but I mean, you got to admit that was pretty bad. All right, let's push F1 to start. And we are, oh, we're in. Okay, so it works. With joystick on the Commodore VIC-20. I'm controlling the character at the bottom of the screen. It is not a platformer. Nothing's happening when I push the button. All I can do is move left and right. And Wallet Walker is you just pick up what's on the right side of the screen and then move back, avoiding the rain. Oh, made $200 for that. Very nice. As long as I don't have to chase away the rats from Viking. See, they should have put this in as a mini game in another title. It would have worked so well. There you go. Just made 400 and got to squeeze through there. Nice and easy. There we go. Good. That's it. Good. As we play game by game all over the world, we're getting releases that are not just in North America. We're playing things in Europe, in Japan, in United Kingdom, in Australia. So we've had little tastes of things every now and then. Oh, they got me. The ambulance comes and gets me. I think it's pretty futile, though, because whatever's falling down is going to destroy all the barriers, and I won't be able to get past. Look at this. There's just a volley of them. So in a way, it's a really simple arcade idea. Oh, it added the barrier back. That's nice. I still died. There's no sound effect for the die, but I really like the ambulance coming to pick me up. We've seen a few games do that on the home computer. It's a death animation. Oh, what? That wasn't even... I hit my hand that time. And then we hear that ditty one more time. It almost sounds like a funeral march. I'd say Wallet Walker is a fun time, very, very quick, simple premise, and an idea that's kind of something we've seen before, but you're essentially just needing to make to one side and then make it back. Almost like a rudimentary freeway that you'd play on the VCS. Because the gameplay is a little simplistic, I'm not going to go any higher than 3 stars, but I still say it's fairly average for all the games we've seen on the home computer. It's not doing anything good, not doing anything bad. It's just right there in the middle, or pretty close to the middle. All right, after Wallet Walker, let's see our next release. Here we go, we're back on the TRS-80 color computer. This is War Kings. Let's take a look at War Kings, starting with the advertisement. All right, this is by Tom Mix Software, and War Kings is over there on the top left, $20. At least this advertisement. Remember Warlords? You'll love this one. A challenging game for 2 on your color computer. High-resolution graphics with outstanding sound make this a real treat. Machine language needs 16K, and there it is. Put your Visa or MasterCard down. And that's all we have for artwork. The rest is screenshots. Let's put some War Kings in our Coco by Charles J. Rudland at some point in May 1982. Just want to check the command before we type this one in. It is machine language, just like the ad said. Now, if you're familiar with Warlords, we saw an ad that Atari was putting out with that little kid saying, if you play Warlords, I want to play it on another system, but other systems don't have it. This would be an example, again, of we know better, because you can get Warlords on other systems. Here's one of them. War Kings. What difficulty do we want? Easy, medium, or hard? Let's start with easy. Atomic Software. Oh, look at that. Nice. Analog control on the Coco. And when you're ready to play, you just push both buttons at the same time. There it is. Nice. It's a 2-player variant, and there is no artificial intelligence, so you have to have a second player to play with you. Since I don't have a guest with me, this would be a solo experience. But to have 2 people to play Warlords on your Coco would be amazing. Yeah, they look like kings too, right? As usual, it's very colorful on the Coco. Maybe even garish, depending on your preference. I love it. It really screams, this is a color computer. And I do get to be a king that's all blue, and I love it. The big thing that sells this is the controls. The TRS-80 Coco and their joystick make this work great. Feels really good for a ball and paddle game, and we've seen a few other ones like that. Get in there, get him! What? How did it bounce out? I thought he was going to die. That was. I think I was gypped off that time. Yeah, and the shields work, right? So they bounce off of it. Let's see if we can get it to bounce. No, it's still going in and back out the other side. So there's not a whole lot of English you can do. Oh, it got me on that one. If you can get it behind the shield, it actually will bounce back and forth and be a detriment to you. Let's see if I can do it to myself. Oh, it bounced off the edge that time. And go back there. I'm trying to hit it behind his. Well, let's do mine. There, look. You're like, oh no! So if you make a mistake, move your shield in the wrong way, then you have big problems. But this would be a fantastic title to play with 2 people at the time. That's the kingly belt, not underwear. Or that guy has underwear. I have a kingly belt. Obviously, the green belt. Yeah, I want to see if we can get it to bounce off the shields. That is a really nice touch. This does have the big flaw, though, even though I wouldn't say it's that much of a flaw, is Warlords was meant to play with 4 people at a time. And if the other people weren't playing in the arcades or at home, you would have a computer that would control them. And you can see with the absence of the 2 corners, it does make for a less hectic or less, a little bit slower pace than what you would expect for Warlords. But War Kings is still a great time on the Coco. If you think of all the games you could play on a color computer, we've seen 2 other variants of Warlords. This one's still done very well. And the big reason is the controller. So I'd say this is an above average title of all the games you could play on a home computer, definitely. Yeah, right, it's a solo game. I mean, I'm still having a difficulty trying to get it to go in there. Come on, get some more English on the paddle. 2 players is where it is at. All right, so that is War Kings. Of all the games we've seen at the time, what would you say for all the computer games? Is this just average? Would you say this is a great game or excellent game? Or is War Kings one of the best computer games you could play? Well, we're going to go 3.5 stars for War Kings. It really shines when you have the 2 people to play. All right, and with that, after War Kings, let's check our next game out. Here we go. It's time to go to the arcade, and this is War of the Worlds. Yes, the War of the Worlds. Let's take a look at the artwork. This is fantastic. Now, this is kind of a recreation of it because the scan that I have isn't the best one, but this is kind of what you would have seen. It's the homage to the 1953 movie, War of the Worlds. And this is by, I believe, Cinematronics that did this one. There's the example of the arcade cabinet. Very, very nice. The yellow and red color scheme looks really good. It's the same as the plexiglass overlay for this one. Oh, yeah, good point. At this point, it's so far in the future from where it came originally that I'm not sure about that. It is blatantly saying War of the Worlds, but you notice there's no trademark or there's nothing that's saying it's using the exact same from H.G. Wells. All right. So here's our control panel for War of the Worlds. You only have left and right buttons, a shield, and fire, and that's it for controls. It is pretty simple, kind of a Space Invaders style controls. Yeah, there you go. So it's only a 2-way button to move left and right, and then a button for fire and a button for shield. Oh yeah, it had to have expired, right? Disney didn't extend it. Yeah, I bet they did. And there's our arcade marquee for War of the Worlds. Very, very classy. Maybe they just got away with it because it was already past the point. This was available both in color and black and white. The black and white one that we're going to be playing is the plexiglass overlay, trying to look as genuine to the arcade as we could. No manual that I could find, but it's time to go to the arcade. By Tim Skelly and Cinematronics, this is War of the Worlds at sometime in May 1982. All right, so bask in everything you'd see around the CRT. This is well done artwork, and it matches the same scheme as the plexiglass overlay. It looks really, really sharp, giving all the different planets, and you can see down there a really small symbol of Cinematronics, letting you know that this is meant to be movie-esque or get you into the movie. As the track mode plays, there's no sound right here on this mode, but you're playing as a character that gets to control a tank, and you're shooting all of the aliens, or the pod aliens down. Now, what's very strange is the game is based on Space Invaders because you're moving left and right and firing, and the aliens are coming down, similar to Space Invaders, and getting closer and closer. But here's the crazy thing. The idea of Space Invaders may have been inadvertently inspired by War of the Worlds, because the idea of invaders coming down from space was because of War of the Worlds. So it's kind of a whole flip on the genre here. Oh yeah, the walking animation's fantastic. So this, I don't think, came in color vector graphics. You either got the plexi overlay or not with black and white. But let's zoom this sucker in so you can see a little bit better as we start the game. There we go. Now we can see a little bit more of the gameplay. Let's put some coins in. 1 player or 2 players. 2 player is alternate play, not simultaneous play, sadly. Here we go. So I got my shield. Now the shield is one that stays up. Oh, it melted my head. Oh, that was awesome. The vector graphics always pop, and if I could make it bloom or glow even as it did back at the time, then I would. But if you hold down the shield button progressively gets lower and lower. You can see I'm holding it down, but it stays this way. So if I let off the shield and come back to the shield, it's going to retain where it left off. While I have the shield up, I can also fire. And when the shield is out, that's it. It's just gone. And the idea is all the aliens are coming down slowly in the background. They get closer and closer. So if you wanted to think about it like a Battlezone takes place in a virtual reality of you moving around the tank. This one, you only have the behind view perspective. Oh, he did it again. Melted my head. Love it. So you don't have as much freedom as you did with Battlezone, but the idea is pretty similar. You move yourself left and right, wanting to fire at the ships before they get down to the bottom. And it just pains me to think that the idea of Space Invaders possibly came from this idea first. And then they realized, or someone did, that someone took the idea from War of the Worlds. We need to make a video game on it, and here it is. The video game based on the movie. Or the H.G. Wells. You have the high score. Select your initial... Oh, sweet. They do the high score here, too. Let's see if we can do it right the first time. Oh, that's pretty slick, because it's only using 2 buttons, so it's pretty easy to control. All right, so visually, this is pretty cool. It's a real treat to play in the arcades. As far as gameplay goes, it's still very reminiscent of Space Invaders. So while it has the look of the golden age of arcade games, and the flash of it, it's melted me again. It is essentially just move left, right, and fire. You do have the shield, but it doesn't really add too much more to it. Oh, see, if you don't put the shield up, you're going to get your face melted. How the pods move and walk, though, look at that animation in the background. It looks awesome. You have to time when their laser fire goes off. And obviously, if you're a fan of the source material, this is so cool. My special part is the laser that comes down. Look at the way it creates what looks like it's breaking up the ground. Very nice touch. And as they get closer, you get... Oh, yeah. As they get closer, it actually is a little bit scarier. You can see more detail in the vector graphics. What I'd love to do is fire farther, though. Our shot only goes to that the bottom part of the screen, so it doesn't go any further than that. Oh, yes. The heat ray, that's it. Yeah, it looks so good. Yeah, gameplay's king. While it has a nice aesthetic, I'd still say this is about above average title, but not going any further than that. But it just looks awesome. So to see this in the arcade would be a treat. And you should. Uh-oh, did we get hit? Oh, we got stunned. So those stun us, and then, oh yeah, don't hit the heat ray. This would be a great title to have in the arcade just to look at, to see and be like, oh my gosh, this is War of the Worlds. Crank the volume up, make it kind of scary. But as far as the game itself, I'm going to go 3.5 stars. Pretty much agreeing with the chat. Curtis and Victor, Manly Stranger. Yeah, it's above average at best for all the games you could play up to this point in the arcade. All right, with that, let's see what our next game is. It's now time to play The Warp Factor on MS-DOS. This is one we've checked out on the Apple II, and here is the MS-DOS version. This one is the release by SSI, so we got a lot to show. First is the blatant ripoff of the box. Same one we saw before on the Apple II, but I mean, come on. The Warp Factor is obviously Star Trek. It looks exactly like the Enterprise, and the Klingon, and I believe that's the Romulan warship. They're all there. Yeah, very similar, right? And they even say Starfleet. They separate with a space. Is at your command. And over on the bottom is, I'm going to give you some more screenshots of the schematics of the ships for the game. But this is like in true SSI fashion, very technical, very tactical, and it is extremely detailed as far as any game you would play on a home computer. There's an example of the screenshot we'll be playing on the IBM, and bear that in mind because this one doesn't run too well. I will show off the manual. It is a very lengthy, very detailed Starship Operations manual on how to play the game. This is something you could get invested in for months if you wanted to. It has a lot of detail specifically for Star Trek fans. And when we played this on the Apple II, it was another one of those, how in the world do you play this on the live show or get a small snippet of it? Because it's impossible. There's too much to it. The Warp Factor is an outer space battle game involving starships, starbases, single-pilot attack spacecraft similar to those portrayed in 4 different television series. At least it says here. I'm guessing Battlestar Galactica, Star Trek, and Star Wars is my guess. Yeah, it's got to be, yeah. This actually is one of the first times you can mix multiple series together, without getting a copyright. So this one involves, if you open up the box, you have the game box, the rule book, a 5 1/4 game disc, the 3 Starship data cards, and the game selection card, which we don't have all the pieces, but this is another one that has lots of feelies inside. The manual outlays all the different nationalities, what they mean, the Alliance, the Klargon Empire, not Klingon, Klargon. And then the different star bases, Imperial Pirates, the Freemen, and then all the different weapons, phasers, photon torpedoes, disruptor bolts. You have all this at your disposal, and you'll be mostly making decisions about what you want them to do. It is very much not an action title. It is more akin to playing a war game, like we've seen with other SSI titles, but in space. And why not make it where it's like Star Trek? I mean, you got to, right? So the manual is extremely lengthy, lots of information about how to play and what to do. It, however, doesn't necessarily hit the mark when it comes to the game. And as far as different versions, I have a few other things that you would have seen in the box. First is the game selection card. This one gives you almost like a reference card of how to play the game. Like this is the different game modes that you can select from. What is the Ramon chase, the attack on an outpost, attack on a starbase, the dogfight, and then the 2-player dogfight, because you can play this with against a computer or against a human opponent. No, for the last time, it does not have green dancing women. It might have Gorns, though. It might have Gorns. And then we also give the reference of how to choose your ships, what value they are. Starbase is way up there, 21. But look how many ships you have. And you can also, I think, choose up to 9 different ships for one game. We have the dreadnoughts, cruisers, heavy cruisers, outposts, and then obviously the different different people that are involved. And then the victory conditions, how you play to win the game. And then down here is the diagram of different energy based on speed and mass and how much you're going to consume during the game. You will need this to play. Very, very technical indeed. And then we also have the ships, which if you thought they looked like that, like the Enterprise on the box, look at this. The Dreadnought is obviously the Enterprise. And let's see if we can scroll down and identify some more. Oh my gosh, look at that. I have Millennium Falcons there. Is that the X-Wing? It's got to be, right? Because Freemen, I'm guessing, is Rebels. And then, oh, there we go. Is that Romulan? Possibly. There's a TIE fighter, definitely. So they're just mixing everything in together. There's the Klingon warship. Yeah, I'm with you. All right, and then we also have, I think that one is Battlestar Galactica. Destroy Warbird. Oh, yeah, hard to tell. And then we have space stations there. The PIE fighter, right? So lots of the information to play the game. Now, here's what happens when we try to play the game. Let's check out the Warp Factor at sometime in May 1982 for IBM PCs. Do we want to play with graphics or text? We want to do the graphics version. So we push G to play graphics. Oh, nice. Phaser set to stun. Do you want to play a new game or restart an old game? We'll hit in for new game. Do you wish to play against a human or computer? Let's do computer. Which scenario do you want to play? And we'll play dogfight, hit number 4. How many ships do you want? I just want 1, but look at that. You can pick up to 9 ships in your fleet. Incredible. How many do you wish to fight? We just want to fight one. Let's do mano a mano. What nationality will you oppose? The Klargons. We want to go against the Klargons. Oh, and Gorm. The ship's name is Gorm. There you go. Gorm, not Gorn. But we'll do first class for the enemy ship. What nationality do you wish? We want to be Alliance. Or wait, can we be Freeman? That looked more like if we're going to play as the Millennium Falcon. There you go. And what class do we want? We want class 1. And here, ladies and gentlemen, is where the game crashes. I spent the last 2 days trying to get the War Factor to work correctly, but it did not. So while the game does boot up and allows us to make selections, I wasn't able to get past that screen. So of all the games we can play, I still would like to check it out, but it is not one of the most amazing titles by SSI. It is slower paced, a little bit more clunky, and less user-friendly than other strategy games. And even for the time, they rated it as well. Now, while we couldn't play this one to its entirety, we also did check it out a little bit on the Apple II. I'm still going to go 2.5 stars of all the computer games you could play at the time. It is cool to mix all the different Star games or Star movies together, but nah, not about it. Oh, yeah. Give it 4 stars, and then it crashes, right? That's how it works here sometimes. In the world of computer gaming. All right, so after War Factor, let's press forward and see our next game. Here we go, our very last title of May 1982. This is X-Wing Fighter for the IBM. And don't get too excited, not the one you're thinking about. When I think of MS-DOS X-Wing Fighter, I'm thinking of, the 1987 one, but we're way away from that. This is X-Wing Fighter, another one we don't have a mini box or artwork for, just a few screenshots. Let's pop in and play X-Wing Fighter by International PC Owners at sometime in May 1982. When did it come out? We don't know. Brought to you by the IPCO, International PC Owners. Hey, there it is. Oh, classic. On the IBM, too. That's really impressive. Do we want instructions? Yes. Star Pilot instructions. The Death Star space station, under the command of Darth Vader, is the most powerful weapon in the universe has ever known. A frontal attack by any other craft would be absolute suicide. However, intelligence delivered to our Republic headquarters by the androids R2-D2 and C-3PO gives a faint hope of successful attack by a small 1 or 2 passenger X-Wing fighter. There's a small unshielded exhaust port on the surface of the Death Star that leads directly to the main reactor. See, all this sounds really familiar. I've heard this somewhere in a movie. I don't think we did that one because of Yahtzee. We may not have, or it was scheduled for June, so we'll have to see. I'll double check later. If you can slip your small fighter past the Death Star's defenses and make a direct hit on the thermal exhaust port with a torpedo, there's a chance the torpedo will penetrate to the main reactor and start a chain reaction. It's like playing Star Wars, but at home on your computer. Blows your mind, right? 1982. Let's see how well it delivers. Press enter for X-Wing Fighter familiarization. The X-Wing Fighter is a small one, manned spaceship that is quite frankly obsolete. It's armed only with laser cannon and 3 torpedoes. Use the laser cannon to fight off any Imperial fighters and save the torpedoes for the Death Star. The target acquisition radar can detect any excess of 100,000 kilometers away, and blah, blah, blah. There we go. The laser cannon is an antiquated weapon. To hit an enemy, you must have him in the exact center of the crosshairs of your radar screen. Then you can fire your laser cannon by hitting the F1 key. The 3 torpedoes are used with the F2 key, and the speed of your ship's controlled by the numbers 1 through 9, which is Mach 10 through 90, respectively. And when selecting the game skill, 0 is the easiest game, 3 is the hardest. 0 provides best chance of being missed by the other enemies. That's nice. Press enter for takeoff. May the force be with you. So there's our key of Imperial Fighter. Darth Vader. They have him as in the TIE Bomber too. And the Death Star. Let's do skill level 0 for sure. Okay, we are in playing TIE Fighter. So this is controlled with the cursor keys. And in the top left corner, that viewport. Oh, Imperial Fighter missed. Oh, he flew past us. Out of range. Okay, we'll see if we can go to the right side. So you can see the top left of the screen is our view attack, or our view. It's almost like a first-person view, but it is very, very minimal. Let's see. Can I even fire my shot? There it is. There's my there's my laser fire. Oh, missed him again. And the way that this is played is not smooth like other space combat games. It's almost like a semi-turn based, where they do their move, and then the next then I'm able to do my move after them. But it happens kind of quick, but still you have to be on the draw ready to push F1 or F2 depending on where they are. Oh, see, I missed another one. So it's not very fluid, and we've seen better. Oh, we did. Did we just crash into the Death Star? Darth Vader is laughing at you. You've just collided with the Death Star. They did not even hear the collision. You did not even scratch the Death Star's paint. But you are dead. You lose. Hit enter to play again. Escape to give up. So we played other games that were very similar to the space combat style, and they even made it so you could have more freedom of movement and attack power. But this one feels very, very limited, especially with, look at the screen. It's extremely tiny, and we've had games that blow it all the way up. To be fair, though, most of the games, the resolution of the IBM PC would be around the equivalent of what you saw in the top left corner, but as a blown-up screen. This is Red Leader. We can't even fire, but we crashed into the Death Star. I think we got one. There we go. Come on, go, go, go. Oh, let's see if we can do the photon torpedoes at it. And they even added the sound for the IBM PC. Kind of cool. This is more of a fan game. There is no true Star Wars game at this point. Yeah, I know. I wanted to like it more too. The gameplay, though, is just so limiting. And there is a lot of technicality to it. You can say they did their darndest for a Star Wars game, but it's still not something that would be as enjoyable or fun at the time. Just because when you actually get in the cockpit like we are now, it's a little cringy. Doesn't feel as smooth or good or fun. If you only had an IBM, if your parents forked over enough money for the IBM PC, you'd find some enjoyment out of this, I'm sure. But as far as the games we've seen, I'm going to go 2 stars. It is a bad title. I'm going to say X-Wing Fighter is bad. The one we see later, though, I'm really excited for that one. All right, so there you go. That is the last game that we're playing in May of 1982. We now move forward to check out summer. Let's see what June has for us in 1982. But first, after this commercial break,
you'll also meet Ken and Roberta Williams, the creative minds behind Sierra Online.
Ken and Roberta
makers of
Williams.
Some of the most popular computer games on the market today.
Ooh.
Many computer games parallel movies in more ways than one. Several computer games are produced like animated
What do you know
films
about computer
with
games,
scripts
Rebecca?
And storyboards and artwork. I'm pleased to have with us today Ken and Roberta Williams.
There they are, Ken and
creative
Roberta
force behind the
Williams.
successful Sierra Online. You all have so many smash hit
Sierra.
games. The Wizard and the Princess.
Wizard and the
Threshold,
Princess.
Frogger. How did all
Threshold.
this begin?
It all began 2.5 years ago in the kitchen of our house.
So 2.5 years
Ken had just bought a
before
microcomputer,
this
an
interview
Apple,
happened, so it's pretty close to
and
where we are.
He thought he wanted to do something with it. At that time, he
I still
really
can't find the
didn't
date of
know what.
exactly when this interview
And
was.
he was fooling around with writing a programming language for the Apple, which is a Fortran language. And in the meantime, I was
Whatever,
playing
Rebecca. You don't know what
a little
Fortran
adventure
is.
game called Colossal Cave, which was just a simple text.
Yeah,
adventure
Colossal
game.
Cave.
And I loved it. I felt that this is something I'd been waiting all my life for. I lived this game. And I thought I could do a game like it. So I sat down at my kitchen table and started writing a game, which I ultimately called Mystery House. But to make it
Yes.
different from the other adventure games at that time, which were all text, we decided to add pictures to it. So we
That's
had to
it.
invent a
Yeah,
way
the
to
very first one was Mystery House, one that we've seen on the show way back when we were in 1980, I believe. But they've been pushing forward, trekking on, making lots and lots of games, garnering popularity. It's been fantastic. Yeah, right? On paper, she wrote the game. But Ken, who, by the way, totally looks like a programmer. I mean, sit in front of the computer long enough, and that's what you should be like for a game programmer. Ken Williams is the man. And Roberta Williams is the woman. The king and queen of adventure games. So here we go. In June of 1982, this is Adventure in Serenia. This is a game that we've seen, I believe, 3 other times. This is first on the Apple II as High-Res Adventure number 2, Wizard and the Princess, and then we've seen it twice on the Atari home computer because it was re-released as the Wizard and the Princess. And on IBM, they switched up the name, wanted to call it Adventure in Serenia and make it a sequel to Wizard and the Princess, but it's essentially the same game. Let's take a look at the box for Adventure in Serenia. As usual, IBM is all business here. Adventure Serenia is boring as hell as far as the front of the box goes, but here is the manual front, which is kind of interesting. It uses the same artwork as Wizard and the Princess, and there's our 5 1/4 floppy disk of Adventure in Serenia by Online Systems. And the artwork, man, oh man, that just gets you in the fantasy mood, ready to play some adventure games. And an example of the screenshot for us, we also have the manual that was for the IBM version. And there's the artwork we saw earlier for Wizard and the Princess. Go by the first few pages, and you can see the edition, first edition says September 1982, because it was released later at another time. And this first version of IBM that we're playing had several other releases as well on IBM. There's another one that we're going to be playing whenever the PC Junior comes out in 1984, and this was released again. So maybe we'll see that one in the future, maybe not. Stay tuned to find out. So if you haven't played this game before, this is Serenia, the precursor to King's Quest, the first online systems pictorial adventure for the IBM personal computer. So this is the very first Sierra Online graphic adventure game. When you load it in, you're magically transported to the land of Serenia, where evil wizard Harlan made off with the beautiful princess Priscilla. Similar as before, been rumored the wizard's taken the princess to the castle beyond the mountains to the north, and it's your task in this game to rescue Princess Priscilla, return her safely to the village where you originally began your adventure. As you journey through the land of Serenia searching for the princess and the means of saving her, the upper portion of your screen displays a picture of the current surroundings, and the bottom 4 lines contain text describing what is happening. In this quest, the computer is your puppet, and you give it instructions and carry out all the commands. In other words, it's a text parser that we'll be using, and we type in things like look chasm, get stick, up, swim, and so forth. When you begin in Serenia, you'll see a small village located in a vast desert. If you check your belongings, you'll find you're carrying a flask of water, a small knife, loaf of bread, and a blanket. Be sure to read the section in the manual titled Saving a Game. Yes, you should. Read the part that says Save a Game. Definitely. All right, so over on the left side, what's the hardware you need to play this? You need an IBM personal computer with 48K of user memory. If you've been playing and checking out the channel, you know that we already have 64K in our system for a few of the games we played on the IBM, so 48K shouldn't be too big of a deal, but it's definitely still expensive. Caring for your adventure cassette, that's very nice, letting us know what to do. The do's and don'ts of your 5 1/4 floppy disk. No pencils, no clips, no ballpoints. Hey, don't bend it. Don't put it out in the sun. And no magnets. No, definitely no magnets. Oh, I missed that one. You did? That's awesome. All right, so how to load Adventure in Serenia. Load Adventure, there it is. Open the drive door, close it up. And when the program's loaded into memory, the following thing is on the screen. And then how do you move around with cardinal directions, of course? If you haven't played an adventure game, it feels like IBM's teaching us, here's how you play an adventure game, like it's our very first time. Thanks, IBM. And then the world around you of how you travel around, explore, get to know Serenia and play. And there's only 4 lines of text at the bottom of the screen. There'll be not enough room to show all the messages. Oh, that's so funny. If you want to see the next 4 lines, press the scroll lock key. Okay, so that explains it. So whenever there's more text, you have to hit scroll lock to scroll it down. That's awesome. All right, so saving, how do you save the game? You're going to need to do that. Save often. Definitely make sure you do that. Look at all the instructions for saving the game if you needed to. And then how to start over again. You can do the quit command. Enter the command colon at the prompt to go back to the beginning, and that just erases everything. But bear in mind, to play games back in 1982, adventure games, they were very long games. If you started from the beginning and you did not save and you were close to the end and you died, that was it. You have to go all the way back to the very, very beginning. It was very, very frustrating. But mind you do it once and you will save every few seconds after that. There's all the function keys and what they're for. There you go. We got save as F3. Wow, even this long ago, F3 is still save. And then they have some hints, getting past the snake, and they give you the hint as a code, which is kind of cool. You may find that a problem in the Adventure of Serenia quest is seemingly impossible to solve, and I am with you. When this happens, it might be a good idea to put the game aside for a while. The next time you play it, it'll probably think of a new approach to the problem. Advice from other members of the family or friends may help also. Thanks, IVM. But if all else fails, if you look in the bottom left corner, turn the Serenia disc over, check the computer store for a hint, or call us at Online Systems. There's the number for West Coast hour times. And then we also have the index here. And they didn't give us a whole lot of story. They gave a lot more lore in the other versions we've seen of a Wizard and the Princess. There we go. Cool. And oh yeah, we also have the video game map someone's dug up. If you didn't want to create it yourself, here it is. The entire map of Adventures in Serenia for IBM or Wizard and the Princess. I believe you start off in... There it is, the desert and then the town. I don't think this is the... Yeah, it's right here. There it is. The town of Serenia. That's where you start in the center. And this is the whole map of the entire game laid out. Too cool. Look at that. Scorpion Desert. There's the castle. If you've made your way all the way through the game, you can... it looks pretty familiar, but it shows you how many screens they had to make for this. So cool for the time.
And I loved it.
All right, let's pop in and play Adventure in Serenia by Ken and Roberta Williams in the beginning of June 1982 for your IBM personal computer. There it is, the splash screen. Who did this? There they are. Implemented by Jeff Stevenson. Way to go, Jeff. Let's go. We're ready to play. And we're going to play this until the end. We're going to go as far as we can. You're in the village of Serenia. Around you is a desert. So welcome to summer of 1982, where we start in the desert. What do you want to do? Let's go west. No, let's go north. Yeah, starting in the desert. And let's go east. Keep going east. You're wandering around in the desert for the very first part of this game. Extremely frustrating. And north. And east. And west. All right, hopefully this is the good rock. Otherwise, we're going to get bitten by a scorpion. Scorpion behind the rock has stung you and you're dead. Would you like to play again? And that's how tough the game is. That's how we played it before. Now, let's do it for real. Go north. So while wandering around in the desert, you will get lost and you're supposed to find a rock, but every rock is the wrong rock and you have to pick up the exact right one. So there's 2, 3 east, 4 east, north, east, north, west. Okay, that's the right one. Looks totally different, right? Get that rock. We got it. Okay, now let's go north and west and north and west. Is everyone drawing their map? Because that's what you'd had to do. North and west and north. There he is. Now we can throw a rock. Kill that snake. Yes. If you have played this and didn't get any further than this, this was the snake that stopped you. This is the reason you didn't get any further in Wizard and the Princess or Adventure in Serenia here on the IBM. So we hit the snake in the head with a rock and kill it. And we are now in the desert. Okay, so let's go north. You are hot and thirsty. You better drink some water. Okay, let's drink. And by the way, before I do that, if you do I and V for inventory, this shows you what you got. Flask of water, pocket knife, loaf of bread, and blanket. And there's more text to scroll, so you have to hit scroll lock again. That's too funny. All right, so drink some water. That is much better. Now your flask is empty. Okay, let's go east. And get that stick. Picked it up. Had to redraw the whole screen again after you get the stick. And then now we'll go west. And north. Uh-oh, there's a rattlesnake here. You better watch out. So now we throw stick. And there's the rattlesnake, by the way, right to the left of that cactus. And now he's gone. We hit the snake in the head with the stick and drive it away. Much better. Now let's look in the hole that the snake was in. We have a note here. Let's get the note. And read the note. There is some strange writing on the note. Okay, so we don't understand what it is. And after we get the note, let's go ahead and head north. And go west. Oh, here we go. A snake that is trapped under a rock. So let's lift the rock. When you remove the rock from the snake's tail, the snake looks at you and says, I am king of the snakes, and to repay you, I will give you a magic word. Hiss. Then he leaves, and you're in the desert. So we learned a magic word, hiss, and now let's go north. I like the art here. It's just a giant note just in the middle of the desert again. All right, so let's get that one. Get that note. There's a rattlesnake here. Throw stick. You hit the stick on the head with the snake with the head on the stick and drive it away. All right, so after we got that, can we read this note? More strange writing. Can't read that one either. Okay, let's go east now. And there is a locket here. I'm glad they explain it because I remember early adventure games, you'd see the graphic and expect it to be helpful, but you still have no idea what that is. So thanks for telling us it's a locket. Let's get that locket. Nice. Okay, so now let's go east. East again. And south. And west. And west. Got another hole. Look in this hole. And there is a cracker here. Get that cracker. Got it. All right, after we got the cracker, let's go east. And heading up north. And north again. Going west. Oh, rattlesnake. Throw that stick. You hit the snake on the head and drive it away. Good. All right, so now... Oh, now I can't remember the last command I did. Went east, north, north, west. And now west. And north. Oh, there we go. We're at the south edge of a deep chasm. There's a cottage and some woods on the other side. Yeah, that's a good point. The graphics that you see here isn't really the best the IBM could do. But it's the only one we got for this game. It is going to be re-released later on the PC Junior, and the graphics look a little bit clearer and crisper. So this early release, I'd say, is pretty much on par or similar to what we played on the Atari 800. But obviously for me, the best one was Apple II, the way to play it. But everyone's opinion varies. All right, so after we're at the chasm, let's say hocus. Oh, we got to say it. Say hocus. Oh, hocus pocus. Now, how we would find out hocus pocus was the magic word, I don't know. Maybe when you play this or ask your family and friends after you're stuck, how in the world do I get past this? Someone just says, oh, why don't you try hocus pocus? And then there you go. All right, so let's go north. All right, we're in the north edge of a deep chasm, and here's the bridge spanning over the chasm. Now let's go house. Go house. There's an apple here. You're in the one-room cottage. It's almost empty except for a couple of tables. So there you go, a brief introduction of how it works to play Adventure in Serenia or Sierra Online adventure games at the time. I would say this game is still a very great title to play, fun title to play. If this was the very first time you'd played an adventure game on your IBM, it's a great one, a classic. And it's also a precursor to a bigger title that's coming up a few years later. And you know which one I'm talking about. King's Quest is where it's at. And this one's like getting to know the world of King's Quest before it happens. So I'd say of all the computer games you could play, this is still an above average title, 3.5 stars for Adventure in Serenia. All right, now we have started the beginning of summer 1982. This is where we got to put our video game playing on pause. If you could go back to 1982 and rate these games on our 5-star rating scale, what would you give them? That's it for today, and like I always say, it's not just ones and zeros that make up a good game. It's a work of art. Hey everybody, thanks for checking out the channel and joining me on my quest to play every single video game in order of release. We'll be streaming live every weekday at 9 p.m. Central, so join us and let us know if we missed any games along the way. This video would not be possible without Launchbox, RetroArch, and MAME. Tell all your friends there's some crazy guy named Chronologically Gaming trying to play every single video game. We have links down below that'll send you to places like our Discord and Patreon, and one that says all the video games we've ever played. If you go there, it's a list of everything, and you can click right to the game you want to see. Chronologically Gaming is the name to look for. We are perpetually retro, and we will catch you next time.